Hey there, Mike.
Hey.
Love in the outfit.
Hell yes.
Rocking the merch. Anybody can get some. Here's this.
Yeah, if no one's gonna buy our merch, we're gonna fucking buy it.
Fair. We did actually sell something the other day. I don't know. I got an email that says like you sold something. I was like, cool.
Yeah, do you know what? Whoever bought that, let us know you're coming on the fucking show if you haven't been.
Hell yeah. I also bought my own merch, but I haven't gotten it yet. So, welcome to Cults an Interview, guys.
Yes.
Episode 19. Like we said, this is like the couple last bangs on the old format. We're going to do something else. It's probably going to come like later half of October. After 20th, we're going to take a little break with this show. We have other stuff going on that, you know, we kind of have to do anyway.
Yeah.
But, saying that, who do we have today, Mike? Do you know who I got us for today?
No. What do you get?
Henry Sanchez.
Bullshit. That's fucking bullshit lie right there. That's fucking bullshit. There's no way he's coming on this show. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Can you imagine if that was true? Of course not. It's Kirk Kowalkowski.
Back 47, guys. Let's do this.
We got Consigliere. So, do you like movies, Mr. Kirk?
Yeah, I like movies. I think they're pretty good.
People seem to think you don't.
I like good movies.
This is gonna get interesting.
You know what? I don't remember where I heard this quote before. Somebody said this about gardening. They said when you really get into gardening, you don't just love the flowers, you hate the weeds. And when it comes to movies, I hate the weeds.
Fair. Okay. We probably should have sent you the questions earlier, but we forgot. So let's just get right into it. What's the movie or movie moment that started your love for movies?
I would say probably. I mean, the easy answer is Star Wars. I was like the perfect age as a real young kid when Star Wars was really popular. For that to kind of capture my imagination and just an idea of what movies could be and what they can do. As I got older, I'd probably say like my more mature adult love of movies was probably Pulp Fiction. And again, I was at the perfect age for that. I was I think a senior in high school when that came out, and that just really showed me what movies could do. From that crime, that kind of like gritty crime. I've loved that genre ever since. Just that kind of that storytelling, that non-linear, just kind of having fun with it and doing your own thing that Tarantino does so well. So I would say those two as a kid and as an adult are the two movies that kind of really sucked me in.
A lot of people pick Star Wars.
Yeah.
I just assume so far that it's episode 4 because, I mean, they don't even specify that shit.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think about Pulp Fiction?
Okay. See, like Kirk, I saw this in theaters, but I saw this in theaters when I was 7. It was good times. I fucking loved it. And it made me who I am today. I love this movie. This is a great fucking pick. I
watched this when I was 13 years old because my dad thought it looked cool and he did not give a fuck. I always ask him, like, do you even read the age? And he's like, that's just a recommendation, man. Just enjoy it. That's cool. I also agree with this pick. It's actually pretty good. I think I never saw Tarantino movies until this one. I mean, he only wrote a couple and directed one before, but yeah, this was always the first love. And the fact that I actually liked Bruce Willis in the 80s and 90s because he used to give a shit. This was great for it. So that's a pretty good pick. How old were you when you watched this, Kirk?
I was 17, 18. Like I said, I was senior in high school when it came out. So around that age.
Jesus, you're younger than both of us. That's crazy. I think the beer is confusing me.
What's the first movie you remember seeing in theaters?
The first movie I remember seeing was I don't remember. Like I remember bits and pieces. I don't remember the whole thing. But the first movie I remember seeing is the Muppet movie, and the one like the first movie image that's burned in my brain watching theater is when Animal drinks the growth serum. and he busts out of the top of the building, and his head's looking around. That has always just been ingrained in my brain. And I go back and watch it now, and it's just like a really kind of generic puppet, trick, camera trick. So it doesn't live up to my memory. But I just remember being in awe of that one moment, and I just remember like the little scenes like with Charles Durning chasing Kermit around and everything was always really fun. So that had to be a re-release because I think I was only like 2 years old when this movie came out. So I don't think I'd remember the original, but I do remember seeing it in theaters somehow. But that's that one moment. This moment is burned in my brain.
Actually, that's a pretty good pick. Yeah, this movie was also out before I was born, so I did watch it later. I think the first Muppet movie I remember actually experiencing in theaters is the Muppets Take Manhattan, which is the third movie. But going back to this one is actually pretty charming. I think this one and the second one are both better than Manhattan. So after Manhattan, when they took that long, like I think it's like 9-year break, it was earned because something was not working in that third one. But yeah this one full with cameos, and like I really love Myth. Every time somebody says Myth, she appears. I love the fact that Charles Durning wants to make a frog-like business and have a frog as a spokesman. And I love that Orson Welles appears in a cameo in the end to just say like, give him the standard Richard. That's just amazing. Mike, I know you love Muppets. What do you think about this?
I really enjoy the first one. The first one was so much fun. All the Muppet movies to me are always a good time. They're always fun. The first Muppet movie I remember seeing in the theaters, I think, was Treasure Island, but I've watched them previously on video and shit like that. But yeah, this is a great pick for first movie you remember seeing. It's so much fucking fun.
Great pick, man. If you could pick one movie from any era to be able to see in theaters, which movie would you choose?
That's tough because I'm lucky enough. I go to a lot of those re-releases that they do at like Cinemark and everything. So there's a lot of movies that I've had the opportunity, older movies I've had the opportunity to see. And
I mean, it's also 2020, so there's no new movies.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think if I could see one on the big screen, I think It's a Wonderful Life would be fun to see in the big screen. I've seen that a million times on TV, but I think that'd be a really fun one just to experience that in a big screen setting.
Mr. Cody Newberry would not agree with you.
I know that he's wrong.
Have you seen this movie, Mike?
Yeah, I love this movie. The movie's so fucking great. I love, like, the last 20 minutes are so fucking perfect of an ending. I love it so much. It kills me every fucking time I watch it. It is so fucking great.
I watched this movie once, to be honest. I rented it because I was curious after all the hoopla. And I thought it was a good movie. But I don't know, man. I mean, I get it. Probably if you watch this earlier in your life when you're like sucking in things like a sponge, you probably appreciate it a bit more. When I saw it, I was already what's the word that Jake uses?
Down
pretentious?
Under? No, like the name he uses. Shit.
Pretentious?
A pretentious hack. Yeah. Yes. I was probably a pretentious film student or something like it, not even studying film, but like a film fan in my 20s, and I was watching all this weird shit for like Darren Aronofsky and David O. Russell, like challenging cinema and shit, and I was like, this movie's just okay. Still good though. Cody's wrong. The movie's not bad. The movie's good. It's just didn't grab me like I was expecting it to. But I mean, actually, to be fair, that happens to like me watching a lot of movies that are classics, because you need to be kind of in that headspace. Like for its time, the movie was this thing.
Yeah.
So we actually are kind of spoiled now with all the developments and evolution of cinema. But yeah, for what it is, I think it. Good pick.
Did you get to experience physical movie rentals?
Yes, I was there from the very beginning. I remember when the whole VHS boom started. And this is back when like VHS was a thing, but VCRs really weren't priced to own. Like they'd set you back like $1,000 to buy a VCR. So my family would go every Friday night. We would go to the video store and we'd rent the VCR, and then you'd rent your stack of tapes, and you get it all in one in one fell swoop there. And I loved it from a very young age. That's like I said, this is when at the very beginning when there were just a video store in every block. And you can go in and that's what we would do. And this is where I learned really shaped my life. This is where I learned that the best possible thing you could do on a weekend is just stay at home and watch movies, because that's what we almost always did. Because my mom really loved movies, and we take it for granted. But you think about that generation, like if you had a favorite movie, unless you got lucky and they weren't shown on TV at some point, you were just not going to watch it. So all of a sudden you could watch all these movies you watched your whole life. So we'd rent, literally like a dozen tapes over the weekend and just sit and watch them all. And that's really where that got started for me.
When I went I had kind of a similar experience, but it was kind of limited for us. We had video stores in the 80s and 90s, but usually they were more like a mom and pop kind of thing, like small businesses, because Blockbuster, which was the biggest chain that came here, didn't come to Panama until like the 1996, 97. So before that, you basically had to go deal with what you had to deal with. And usually the stores had like a good variety of movies, but they didn't have 10,000 movies in every store, like a big chain. So the first time I went to Canada, I think it was 98. And my sister-in-law, not my sister, my cousin's sister-in-law took me to a store, like a giant-ass video store in Canada. I just kind of went apeshit. I rented 20 movies. So, and when I got home, I just started watching movies one after the other, and then it became the next day. And she's like, "You have not slept at all." I was like, "No, we go back to the video store to get some more films." It's a transcendent experience, so I dig it. Mike, you never rented anything, did you?
I did. I actually grew up basically in a video store. So yes, I got to experience VHS, DVD, all of it.
So what's your favorite video store?
Of course, Blockbuster. I mean, how can you?
Goddamn right it is.
Like you said, when I was growing up, it was just a ton of mom and pops, and there were a lot of places like I like to go that just I knew the people or whatever. But there's a local grocery store here called Giant Eagle, local chain, and in the like late 80s, early 90s, mid 80s, early 90s probably, they dedicated just a huge chunk of the store to the videos to their video store. And you'd walk in, it's the first thing you saw, and it was all lit up, and they had a million movies and posters everywhere. And that's really like was my feeling growing up, as that's what a video store was to me. And like you didn't feel like a lot of grocery stores just had like one or two racks of videos, and that's what you rented. But they had like its own enclosed space, and I would just like my parents would shop, and I'd just go in there and look at movies and read the boxes and look at the posters and stuff. So that as a kid, that was usually my favorite.
That's actually a weird combo. I think I saw one video store / supermarket in all my experience in life, and I always thought it was kind of a fun thing. Like instead of having like a playpen, like for leave the kids and go, just leave them in the video store.
Yeah.
Shit.
What was the first movie you chose to rent by yourself? Now, what we mean by this is you go to Nazario's grandma's house, and she gives you a quarter for mowing her lawn. What would you choose to rent with that?
The first one, I think I chose. Like I said, we rented a ton. And my parents were kind of like yours, Nazari. They just rented what they wanted, and I watched it. So I'm sure I got to pick some stuff. But the one video I remember like needing to watch was Transformers the movie, because because I watched the cartoon show, and my parents didn't take me to see it in the theaters. And the trailers pretty much spoil that Optimus Prime dies. So I was like, oh, I need to know what happens. And then like over the course of waiting for the video to come out, like you go to the store and the toys are spoilers. It's like, what the hell is a Rodimus Prime? I don't know that. So I was like just dying to figure out what happened in this movie. So, and then this is back, like kids are spoiled now. Like a movie comes out in theaters, like 2 months out later, it's out in the video store or, digital or whatever. Back then you waited like a year minimum for a movie to come out on VHS. So I waited so long, but finally I got to watch it, find out what happened, and I was really excited about that.
This movie is fucking savage. Like, I think it's the first 15 to 20 minutes. It actually starts for people who are not into the Transformers lore. We kids from the 80s love this shit. So the season ends, right? And then you get in the summer, like, yeah, it's a movie, it's gonna be awesome, and whatever. Then the movie starts with a time jump. It starts years later from the show, so just right there, you know that there's a gap of time that something happened, you don't know what happened. And then the Decepticons show up and start murdering every single toy you love. And it just keeps going and going and going. And then you realize that all your toys are pointless now because everybody's dead. But no, there's no problem because, you know, they're introducing new toys for you to buy.
Yeah, this is probably the most soulless movie ever. It would just kill all your old toys so you buy all these new toys.
Fair, but saying that, I love this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And it kind of backfired on their ass several ways. First of all, everybody hated it, and the reaction was pretty negative about the cheap attempt to make your kids change their toys, and they misjudged the affection people had for Optimus Prime. Mm-hmm. And this actually changed the movies, the plans about releasing the G.I. Joe movie. I don't know if you guys knew that was actually supposed to be a theatrical release too. Yeah. But they also had the brilliant idea to kill, what's his name? Duke.
Duke, yeah.
They were going to kill Duke in the movie because, you know, they have a new guy coming in. I think it's Flynn, the name, the guy with the beret.
Falcon. Lieutenant Falcon. Voiced by Don Johnson.
Yeah. So when they realized that, they kind of axed that immediately. And then they just, like, changed the movie a bit. It's like they kept the scene where Duke dies. And then they just changed the voiceover, like, oh, Duke is hurt. I saw that shit. That guy's dead.
Snake to the heart.
And then in the last scene, there's just another voiceover where you cannot see Duke at all. It's just like, so, hey, then Duke is getting better. All right. Like, yeah. Like, fuck that shit. I didn't see no Duke. Anyway, yeah. This movie is kind of infamous because of stuff like that, but it's actually a great fucking movie. Orson Welles, my man, is in this thing, so that's great. Mike, you love Transformer animated movies. Why is this your favorite movie of all time?
I never got into Transformers. I've watched all of them, including this one. I think I saw it once, and just wasn't for me. You know, I like the cartoon. Never really enjoyed. I grew up in the late 80s. It might be because of that, but yeah.
Fun fact, Rodimus Prime appeared in exactly one episode of the cartoon the next season. And it was basically to bitch at a statue of Optimus Prime saying, oh, I miss you. You were such a good leader. I haven't been able to do shit. And they resurrect him immediately and bring back Optimus Prime for the rest of the show. Great shit. Changing speeds. Who's your favorite actor?
That's tough, but I'd say movie for movie, I have to go Pacino. And I know that's generic, but he's just too many movies I've seen him in where he just blew my mind. You know, Dog Day, Serpico, The Godfathers, obviously. He just does something new and brings something to every performance that completely sucks me in, and you know, just has me sold on the character he's playing. And you know, obviously, you know, in his later years, he's made some bad decisions and made some bad movies. But like 70s, 80s Pacino is just spot on every time.
Boom! There you go.
It's exactly the era I was thinking of.
What do you feel about Al Pacino, Mike?
Oh, I love Al Pacino. Al Pacino is great. Everything, like Kirk said, he's in, I think elevates the movie. I may not enjoy every single movie he's been in, but his performances are always fucking fun and fantastic.
I kind of agree. I actually think his turn as Jimmy Hoffa in what was the name of the movie?
Irishman.
The Irishman, yeah, the recent one from Scorsese that went to Netflix. That was actually a pretty good movie, and actually a pretty good performance. The best he's been in years. Yeah. He actually was kind of trashing his career with the Don Casino shit, but I mean, I mean, definitely a good actor.
What I've read is what he does now is his intent now is to purposely pick bad movies to try to make them better.
I actually heard an urban legend about Marlon Brando. I don't know if you heard that. Like when he acted in a movie, he gave one great take to the director, and then he gave him a trash take. And depending on what the director picked, that's how he did the rest of the movie.
Mm.
Like if the director picked like the trash take, he's like, "Fuck this shit! I'm not making another here." So yeah, that would be actually pretty interesting if it was true. I really like Al Pacino movies, but I do feel like he tends to overact a bit, just a bit, sometimes, especially when he pretends to be Cuban. That does not really work. So, Mike. All right, you already said it.
Yes, I did. Who's your favorite actress?
Favorite actress? I would say right now, somebody whose career I've just, over maybe the past year and a half or so, I've really started to dive into is, right now, it's a Katharine Hepburn.
Ooh.
She is just another one who's just amazing in everything she did. I mean, if you go back to like her early stuff, like Bringing Up Baby, to like later Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, she is always fantastic. I'm just enthralled when she's on screen. She's just such a cool lady. Usually I'm not into actors who kind of have a persona. I want to see actors who actually like do something, like, you know, give a performance, like actors who have a persona and just kind of do that over and over again. Not that that's all she does, but that's kind of, she has her Katharine Hepburn thing, but it's so great. Every time she does it, I'm just so on board. Yeah, she was just, and even, you know, even when she was older, her later stuff was really good. Like she just had like such a presence and a charm, and just like had that like take no prisoners attitude that I loved. And like I said, I haven't seen a ton of her movies because I'm still kind of getting into her. But everything I've seen, I love. Like when she's on screen, I'm just glued to it. I want to see what she does next.
Actually, haven't seen very much of Katharine Hepburn, to be honest. So I don't feel like I am educated enough to make an assessment here. Mike, have you seen the Katharine Hepburn movies?
I haven't seen a lot of them, but Guess Who's Coming to Dinner is probably my favorite performance that I've seen of her so far. I think she's fucking amazing in it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think this is a great pick for a favorite actress, because I know she's done a lot of movies that are fucking great. Just need to watch them.
Is that movie a remake of Guess Who with Bernie Mac and Ashton Kutcher?
Yes, it is.
So I saw that one anyway. I'm not surprised at the picks, actually. I think the Consigliere is a very classic guy, so I dig it. We got actress, we got actor. Who's your favorite director?
This is one that's always kind of, you know, there's like 4 or 5 guys probably who, you know, if I'm watching their movie at that moment, they're my favorite director. If I had to pick one right now, I'd probably say Kurosawa. And that's just because I've only relatively recently really gotten into him. Probably in the past like 2 or 3 years. I had the Filmstruck streaming service, which got replaced by Criterion Channel, and that's when I really actually for the first time had the opportunity to watch his movies. And so I'm still like diving into him. Like Tarantino and Scorsese would be my other top 2, but I know those guys. I'm kind of comfortable with them. I love them, but I know what I'm getting. Like with Kurosawa, I'm still discovering a lot of new stuff, and I'm kind of in that honeymoon phase with his movies. So if I had to pick one right now, I'd say Kurosawa.
Again, I am not very knowledgeable of this subject, as you can probably evidence in that match we did 2 years ago when we kicked their ass with this category. Do you like Akira Kurosawa?
I really do. Hidden Fortress, Rashomon, Seven Samurai is definitely my favorite of his. That's the one I actually watched when I was a little kid, and I fucking fell in love with it. He brings such unique style to his movies that people have emulated since. This is a fantastic pick for favorite director. And we didn't lose on Kurosawa. We lost on his fucking actor, which you can't think of his goddamn name now. But his favorite actor to use. Cannot fucking think of his name. That's a category we got fucked up.
Toshiro Mifune.
Yes. That's what it was. That's what fucked us. It wasn't Kurosawa. It was him.
All I remember is that I answered one question, and that's it. I don't remember what else.
But Nazario, you're in Criterion Collection. You got to watch at least one Kurosawa movie.
You would think so. But you would be wrong.
Some people may think that we only have it by name only.
Yes. And those people would be right.
What's your favorite movie?
I think this is obvious. It's The Godfather. It's, you know, and I hate when people ask this. I almost hate giving that answer because it's such like the basic answer, but it's the right answer. You know, it's everybody. It's you know, it's the you know, the greatest movie ever for a reason. I just love it so much. It's so rewatchable. I've been watching this movie. I probably saw it first time 20, 25 years ago, and I don't know how many dozens of times I've seen it since. And there's always new things to see and new things to discover. It's so deep. You can watch it from different angles, from different characters' perspectives, just focus on that and get something new out of it. I heard an interview about a year ago or so. Someone was talking, and they said that they thought that Michael, it was their takeaway from the movie, that Michael always wanted to be a part of the crime family. Like, he felt left out. He didn't want to reject it. He always wanted to be a part of it. And I thought that was dumb. That's stupid. So next time I rewatched the movie, I watched it with that perspective in mind, and it changed a lot about the movie. That's what's so great about this. There's so much going on, and the characters are so real and so human that they do things that are, you know, might throw you off because they're acting like people. They're not just characters on a page. They're actual living, breathing human beings, and so many great characters, so many great subplots, so many great stories. I just never get sick of it. There's all, like I said, there's no fat on this movie. There's not a wasted frame. It is just perfect.
I agree. I actually think this is the best of the trilogy by far. Some people think the second one is better than this. I disagree on that one. Not that the second one is anything less than a great film, because it is. It's just, I don't know, man. It's not a popular opinion, but I would prefer the second one decide to go with one of the two stories instead of interconnecting them. I wouldn't mind seeing the origin of Vito Corleone with Robert De Niro, but maybe as a separate thing, because I think the Michael story is so engrossing, how he's trying to go legit and they won't fucking let him, that it's that I think that carries the movie by itself. But I mean, that's just my opinion. Mike, you hate this movie. What the hell?
Yeah, I am not the biggest fan of these movies, as Nazario knows, and it's going to come up on another show. I don't hate them, but yeah, I'm not the biggest fan at all. I've seen them. I've tried it a few times on each of them. I just can't get into it. But I understand why it's your favorite movie, because, damn, yeah, it is known as a great fucking movie. It is well made, for sure.
Probably the most important question of all the show. Spielberg movies or Tim Burton movies?
Oh. If I'm going the entire filmography, I got to go Spielberg.
Fuck yeah, you do.
I just think that when Burton, because here's the thing, when Burton is on, he is on. Like, prime Burton is prime Burton is so good. Like, and usually it's when he's doing his own stuff. When you give him an IP, usually it just turns to crap, and he's been doing a lot of that lately. But when he's doing his own original stuff, it's fantastic. But he has a lot of misses. Spielberg, even when he misses, is still pretty good, and he doesn't have a lot of misses. So yeah, I mean, I like, and I've grown in my appreciation for Burton. I've watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure a lot over the past year because it's come up in trivia. And the more I watch that movie, the more I love it. I've really come to appreciate that movie. And I mean, Beetlejuice. I really like Batman '89. I watched Frankenweenie for I think it's because in our match against you, I was getting ready for you guys. I watched Frankenweenie, and I really like that. So yeah, Burton has a lot of good stuff, and I appreciate him more and more. But Spielberg is so deep.
I mean, he also made the BFG. Remember that?
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's a great fucking movie, Nazario. And we lost our host for today.
Boo.
Yes or no?
Okay,
I mean,
yes or no?
Simple question. Just yes or no.
yes. I mean, has anybody ever said no to Kurt Russell?
Well,
I mean, I don't love. I don't. I'll say this. I don't. Who was the no?
You know, we don't remember. That's the sad part about it.
I
We don't remember who fucking said no.
I think it was Lucas.
It could have been. It was somebody that knows that Kurt Russell's great. You just haven't seen enough to say yes.
Or what was that Permison? I don't know. It was one of those.
That sounds like a Permison take. Now, I'll say this. I don't hold Kurt Russell in the esteem a lot of people do. Like a lot of people see him as this like fantastic icon that can't be touched. I don't have him at that level. But he does a lot of really great movies, so I'm not gonna say no to Kurt Russell.
I think that's the only reason you're still on the show.
Yeah, you didn't say no.
Fair. Bruce Campbell. Yes, no, or groovy.
Again, I don't dislike the guy, but if we're talking about like Bruce Campbell as like the cultural icon, I would say no.
And that's our show.
He wasn't even born.
No, like I said, I mean, there's stuff about Bruce Campbell I like, and I think I just think he's overexposed at this point. It's almost like the Betty White syndrome where it's everywhere. It's like, okay, I get it, Bruce Campbell. He's done some stuff I really like, but he's not somebody I don't need him to show up in, I don't need him to show up in Doctor Strange 2 because Sam Raimi's directed it. I don't need to see Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, you do because Bruce Campbell.
The best thing he does lately is cameos in Spider-Man movies. Did you not see our ranking of the side characters in Spider-Man movies?
I'm a big Bubba Hotep fan. I really like that movie.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Don Cascarelli. Great direction.
We have a great show on that as well.
Go look at our backlogs. Good shit.
Recommend 2 movies people wouldn't expect from you.
Wouldn't expect from me.
So good movies.
I would say. I might just mention Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I don't think a lot of people would expect me to like that.
Wait, let me get the poster. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Okay. Yeah, Pee-wee. This movie. What I love about Pee-wee's Big Adventure is just how serious. Like my favorite line in that movie is, "What led you to believe the Soviets were involved?" Just like the seriousness of that line reading. Like how this is a ridiculous world, but everybody takes it so serious, and I love that. That's just again, that's peak Burton creating a world like that. So I think Pee-wee's Big Adventure would be one. And it came up in the top 100. I'm kind of known for this now, so maybe they would expect it, but Pacific Rim. I love Pacific Rim. That's such a great movie. It's so much fun. I just love movies with scale, with like big scale, like things that are big, and you see how small other things are next to them. I saw this in the theaters, and it was one of the best, probably one of my favorite just theater experiences of the decade. Love Pacific Rim.
I gotta say, first of all, thanks for the Burton pick. I mean, it was worth a little bit of trashing, but it was a great pick. And yes, this was the first movie he ever made. It's not his property, obviously. It's Pee Wee Herman. God damn it! It's Paul Rubens' property. But yeah, he made it something interesting, and everything. Every time I watch that movie, I find some weird little shit that I like. Some like it's different, like the time when they cross the Godzilla set, and you have like the guy in the Godzilla suit. It's amazing. And the classic. What's her name? Berta? No, Marge. Large Marge. I mean, the whole thing with Large Marge, and she was dead. Oh, that's so fucking great. And the second pick, you got Pacific Rim with. You know what? I think this movie gets unfairly trashed. I think this movie is actually pretty smart about it. I think the opening segment is human nature in a scene right there.
Yeah.
Yes, we are afraid of the monsters, but as soon as we can commercialize them, make fun of them, and make toys, that's what we're gonna fucking do because we're people and we love that. And then I wish somebody was the lead other than Charlie Hunnam. He's not great. but I think Idris Elba is pretty fucking great.
Mhm.
And I think the movie has so much. I mean, you can feel Guillermo del Toro's love for this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if people say, like, this is lesser del Toro, maybe, still fucking great. But if you want to see this idea without that charm, just watch the fucking sequel.
Yeah,
I mean,
which I haven't done yet. I've purposely avoided that because I don't want to mar my.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that you've avoided it.
Yikes. Mike, what do you think about these picks?
I think they're both great picks. Pee-wee, I grew up on Pee-wee. I love fucking Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's so fucking fun. Pacific Rim was one of my favorites of that year. It's such a great kaiju movie. And I think Guillermo del Toro was the best fucking director to put his foot forward and do it. I'm glad he got to do it. It sucks that he didn't get to do the sequel like he wanted to at one point. But yeah, I love it.
I don't know what happened there. It's like he was changed on purpose, or it was something else.
I think it was time issue. I think he had something else going on, so he just had to say goodbye to it. It took a while for it to get off the ground.
Yeah, that's true. And well, I did not expect those. I mean, I expected a bit the Pee-wee because you mentioned it, but so that was pretty great, guys.
Yeah.
Good movies. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Kirk, for being number 19.
Thanks for having you guys. It's fun.
Yeah.
We're going to close this shit up. We're going to release this one tonight, and you're going to get episode 20 next week. We had a special guest on that one, so that's why my beard will magically grow back and disappear after. But I mean, that's what happened.
It's not that we took a couple years to make the episode 20. It wasn't that at all.
Buy your shit!
I'm on Your List Sucks tonight. Watch that.
Oh, shit, yeah. Watch that. We're going to post this before Your List Sucks. So you watch this and then watch that. Great shit.